How to get duty-free inputs for your export products. Duty exemption and remission schemes for inputs. When you manufacture and export products, the inputs and raw material that go into making the export product might suffer duties and taxes. These duties and taxes make the product costly in the international market. To make the product a part in the international market, the government has designed various duty exemption and remissions schemes to offset the input duties and taxes. In short, the mantra is products should be exported, not the taxes. Chapter 4 of the Foreign Trade Policy talks about these duty exemption and remission schemes. What are these schemes? 1. Duty remission scheme. Currently there is only one duty remission scheme, which is that administered by the Customs Department and is known as duty drawback scheme. Under duty drawback scheme, a percentage of total free on board F.O.B price is reimbursed to the exporter directly to their bank accounts. The percentage reimbursement varies from product to product depending on the duties generally suffered on the inputs while making the export product. This percentage rate is published annually by the Department of Revenue after the budget. Duty exemption schemes. If one is making an export product, one has a choice to procure inputs and raw material. Currently there are two duty exemption schemes: first, an advanced authorization scheme, and second, duty-free import authorization (FIA) scheme. Advanced authorization is issued to allow duty-free import of input which is physically incorporated in the export product. Authorization is issued for inputs in relation to the resultant product. This is calculated based on standard input-output norms, SION, or on the basis of self-declaration. The SION norms specify how much of input is required for making an export item. This also accounts for the wastage of the input in the production process. For example, if we were to make a size 40 shirt for export, SION would tell us how much of fabric would be allowed. Under A, currently SION is published by Dgft for more than 11,000 products. If your export product is not listed under SION, or if your requirements differ, you may go under self-declaration. And yes, if you want to use Indian inputs in place of imported inputs, even then advance authorization schemes comes to your help. You may get the advance authorization invalidated against a domestic procurement and save on IGST/excise duties. In short, imported or Indian, you don't pay duties and taxes as long as you export the finished product. FIA scheme is similar to advance authorization scheme. It is also allowed for duty-free import of inputs. Unlike advance authorization, FIA is issued on a post-export basis for products for which SION has been notified. Further, FIA shall be exempted only from payment of basic customs duty and not total duties. Also, FIA is transferable. That is, if you don't need those duty-free inputs after the exports, you may transfer your license to a needy friend for money. What is the export obligation under each of the scheme? Under each of the duty exemption schemes, a minimum value addition must be achieved. It means that the final value of the export items should be a percentage value about the value of inputs used under advance authorization scheme. Minimum value addition of 15% must be achieved in the inputs procured, while under FIA scheme the minimum value addition is 20%. For example, if the Inputs used under advance authorization are of $100, then the final product must be sold for at least $115 under advance authorization and $120 under DFIA. Further, under each of the schemes the exports must be made and the proof of exports must be furnished within a given obligation period. This period is 18 months under the advance authorization scheme and 12 months under the DFIA scheme. If all sounds very confusing, so can we explain in simple steps the entire process from start to finish for advance authorization. Okay, let's summarize these schemes. Ensure that you don't pay duties on inputs that go into export products, and if you have already paid the duties on inputs, you may get it remitted through drawback. And if you do not want to pay duties on your raw materials or inputs for export product, you have advance authorization scheme and DFIA scheme. Under advance authorization, you do the following steps. Firstly, list down the inputs and raw material that goes into export product. Secondly, apply for advance authorization from Dgft. Thirdly, get the license from Dgft and go to customs for registration of authorization after submitting the bond. And import all the inputs that go into export product duty-free. If you want to procure indigenously and not import the inputs, you may invalidate the license and get the input without paying IGST/Central Excise duties. The next step is to do the exports by endorsing advance authorization number on shipping bills. While exporting, get the money for exports, and then banks would issue EBRC, that is Electronic Bank Realization Certificate, for getting the money for exports. The further step to apply to Dgft for issue of export obligation discharge certificate for fulfilling your promise of exporting. The final step is to close the bond at customs. For any support and consultation, you can contact Ajay Chhabra at his mobile number 9811088,422 for any consultation, and his company website address is www.dgftconsultancy.com.